infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect.
City. Now it's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Well, you got to meet your coach yesterday at a little party out at the Davilo Center, all to celebrate exactly 4 months to the day that Fernando Lobo was on the job. A 4-month anniversary party is what it was. Well, that too. Maybe not that too. Maybe that was coinciding with the big event yesterday. The introduction of Eric Olin as your new head basketball coach. Good party, good time. You tell me if he won the press conference or not. I'm not sure it matters. Maybe you're sure. You've got a different opinion on that, but we'll get into what he had to say, how he had to say it, how he looked in red. He's still getting used to it as well. Good morning to you. Happy Wednesday. 'Tis your opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Thank you for being with us this morning. I'm Jeff Symbieta. He is JJ Buck. How you living?
What it do?
Big day at the zoo yesterday, huh?
Huge day.
I mean, I love, somebody asked me, where's JJ? Where's JJ? I'm like,
No one
what
asked
JJ, actually, that's totally true. And it's I was asked that 3 times. And every time when I said, he's actually, can I share?
Yeah.
Chaperoning a field trip for, with his son. Everybody's like, oh, that's cool. I all 3 times, totally get it.
It's like herding sheep.
Yeah, I imagine it might have been.
Just kindergartners at the zoo.
Yeah, I imagine. Make sure you keep counting them.
I just was like a force field in the back. Like, you walk near me, you get buzzed. Can't go past me.
Yeah. I know you saw a lot of what Eric Olin had to say, and today we're going to catch up with Fernando Lobo. This is something I've been wanting to do, and Fernando's been on the job as of yesterday for 4 months, and we haven't had him in studio, and I've been wanting to do that. And so Fernando Lobo's due in studio at 8 o'clock this morning, and we're just going to kind of let you get to know him a little bit, but really kind of get into the first 4 months that have been a whirlwind, from his hire to days later having to go out and hire a football coach to now to winning championships, right? And you won a men's basketball, cut down the nets, but what's going on in other sports. And whilst he was up in Santa Fe and getting the lay of the land and figuring out the legislative angle of it, and it sounds like it was a successful session for the University of New Mexico, then he had figuring the whole thing out, and as a first-time athletic director. So just kind of catch up with him, maybe catch his breath a little bit, and philosophies on hiring coaches, because I guess he's got one now, right? And by all indications, I like, it was all smiles. It was a big party, and it happened to be on the same day that Richard Pitino was introduced. It's weird seeing him wear all that blue at Xavier yesterday as well, and he was very complimentary of his time at the University of New Mexico. But yesterday was about Eric Olin, and JJ, the feeling in that room, certainly, and the people with whom I've spoken, positive. They're going to like Eric Olin. I think, like most people, he was much more personable when answering questions as opposed to reading his comments. But I thought he was good, and I think he won the press conference.
I think there's plenty of reason for optimism. You have a successful coach that dealt with a difficult transition and an athletic department going from D2 to D1 to be successful, to get to the NCAA tournament, win 30 games, and be able to cap it off with punching your ticket to the NCAA tournament this past season, and now you take a step up in resources, in competition. That's the big thing, is you have different resources to compete with, in the name, image, and likeness at the University of New Mexico. And even in a time there's so much uncertainty after this season, you still feel that you're in a positive direction with your basketball program, that, heck, even if maybe there is a bit of a transition, it turns into a one-bid league for a year or two. And I know that we've discussed it, and you look at Grand Canyon, UNLV, some of these other teams, can you make it a multiple big league? Well, you can still be in position with the right coach, with those resources, to be the team that is getting to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. There were a number of things that he said. I liked the way he handled some of the questions, right? Like at some point he's like, look, I've been here less than 24 hours. How's it been so far? It's great, man. My office is good. And I
landed last night.
I walked out. He said, I walked onto the pit floor. He got chills. It's kind of weird wearing red. I haven't worn red much in 21 years. Somebody asked, red or green? I haven't tried it yet, man. I guess I'm leaning green, but I hear Christmas is pretty good. Like he was versed in a lot of that stuff. There wasn't just a lot of crap to it, not a lot of BS and lines. And I'll tell you the thing that that stood out to me the most, and everybody's you're all gonna have your own thing in there, but one of the things that that hit me was the way he talked about people and how people win, and he's been pretty big on this that players win games and coaches lose games, which is somewhat a play on what I believe of players make plays, right? But if you believe that you win with people, and if in fact you're a people person, and again, I'm going to tell you, the few people that I've spoken with in San Diego who know him a little bit really like him. The people in basketball that you've been reading on the X, on the Twitter, who unsolicitedly have been singing this man's praises. He seems, JJ, although he's from Alabama, 21 years in San Diego will make you San Diego chill, right?
Yes, it will.
And so he seems somewhat San Diego chill. If that resonates, then it's going to attract good people. And I think, what did he say? He said, somebody asked, how do you want your team? And I think it was smart, tough, and skilled, I believe were the three words. And I loved that answer because that's the perfect combination, smart, tough, and skilled. He said, I want players with a chip. I gravitate. He didn't say I gravitate to players with a chip on their shoulder. But if it's about people, and you're a people person and you're good with people, and by every indication he is, then he will get people to surround him. That means staff and players. And I believe you'll be successful. Now, what does that mean year one? I don't know, man. It feels like a rebuild. I saw Kay Dotson at the facility yesterday. People are saying there's a chance that he stays. I've been hearing maybe True can be re-recruited. Philip Borovichinen announced yesterday he's going to Xavier with Richard Pitino. Although, hell, I don't know what to believe yesterday anyway. Anything that happened yesterday on the Twitter, like April Fools, is I'm really cautious, but I think Philip is going with Pitino. But the people part of it, if you're a people person there, you can be a people person and make it work, because to me, people are what make things work.
Yeah, there's when it comes to the roster, it's a given when there's a coaching change, guys are going to go into the portal. Now, if you get a chance to meet the coach, see, hey, there's still a role for me at UNM, I can be a part of his plan moving forward. Yeah, then some of those guys can absolutely come back. It's just a given at this point in time. Even if you feel like you're coming back, why not enter the transfer portal? And it's the way it looks like right now in college athletics. But to your point on the people person, absolutely, man. And this is one that, Eric Olin talked about it a lot, Richard Pitino on his way out. Like, this is what matters for the Lobos and Lobo fans is competitiveness, is winning games, and you have the opportunity to do that at UNM because of the support and building relationships, positive outlook. Like, there's not a lot he was going to be able to say over the last few days that if you're one of those people that doesn't believe in him, he's going to flip it overnight, because he's got a lot of work to do, man. I think right now there's 2 players on the roster that haven't entered the transfer portal.
Yeah, who's left? Is it just Secco and Thomas?
I believe that is correct.
Right? Everybody else is in the portal, right?
So it's just listening to him, and he's got a lot of work to do to build relationships. But I think when you look at his resume and his background, even though he was somewhere forever, he still knows plenty of people. And sure, he had his list that made it change a little bit in terms of players that he was interested in. But again, as he said here, and when we talked to him, was it Monday morning? Like, yeah, the conversations are a little bit different when you show up at UNM with that collective versus UCSD.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it too, right? And he talked about it and the resources, and that was a part of, obviously, you going to the University of New Mexico, the resources that they have, and that means, in large part, it means what do we have collective, what's in the war chest, what can we spend? All right, you've seen the contract, you've seen the terms. It's 5 years, $6.5 million, starts at $1.2 million as a base this season. He'll be the 4th highest paid coach in the Mountain West behind Brian Dutcher at San Diego State, Jared Calhoun at Utah State, and Steve Alford at Nevada. In the new clause to UNM, a coaching contract, so if he leaves for another coaching position. The new school will have to schedule a home series with UNM. Why do I like that?
I saw that, and that was sneaky good.
Yeah, I kind of do like that. One game in the pit, and then when it wherever he goes, which would have been really cool with Xavier. Or they can buy that out for $250,000. Incentives in there. Look, these. So if like Richard Pitino this year would have, and I'm thinking his was very similar. Mountain West Coach of the Year, $25,000. Mountain West Conference Championship in the regular season, $25,000. You get an at-large berth to the NCAA tournament, $25,000. NCAA tournament win in round one, $50,000. So, for instance, this year, did they finish in top 15 Ken Palm? They did, right? It's another $25,000. So I think it would have been a $150,000 bonus, when it was all said and done, right? And then it goes up and there. So you heard him. You got to see him. Your thoughts, because now you're off and running. Now it's go to work. Now it gets hopefully quiet for a couple of weeks, and you start hearing some announcements about his staff and Cade Dotson staying, and or Jovan Milicevic has decided to stay, or whatever it happens to be, right? But now it's get to work time. Fernando Lobo's scheduled to be in studio. That's the vice president and athletic director at the University of New Mexico. That's coming up at 8:00 this morning, and looking forward to that conversation and just sitting down and just letting you know Fernando a little bit. There's a bunch of other stuff going on, man. There are NFL rules, coaching cycle. I don't know if you watched Pitino or saw any of his introductory press conference. I thought he was good too at Xavier yesterday. I mean, he was Richard Pitino. Buzz Williams leaves Texas A&M to Maryland, which is crazy to me, with all the resources at A&M. But we can get into that. Baseball last night, 15-1 opener. It was cold last night. I'm not going to lie.
Cold and windy.
Yeah, it was chilly, but I was out there. And as I left the car, I'm like, I should have grabbed a beanie. I got me one of them Topes beanies. I wore the Orbit beanie on my bald head. It was wonderful. And boy, were there some performances in the NBA last night. So we're open for business at 505-246-0610. That's the phone line and the text line here at The Sports Animal, 505-246-0610. Your emails will come in this morning, as they always do. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ is on the X. It's _JJ Buck. You can watch the show on our Facebook page, the OD and the AM. Adrian is producing on the visuals. You can watch it on Xfinity Channel 26 around the state of New Mexico. And where else? Oh, on the YouTube channel for ProView Networks. When we come back, two tremendous performances of the NBA by two of the NBA's biggest stars. One wins, one doesn't. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal.
NBA better.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety.
They still have it. One of them at a little bit of an advanced age, the other one right in his prime. Two sick performances last night in the National Basketball Association as we wind down the stretch and head towards the playoffs. It is your opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. I don't know which one you think is better. I guess the one in the loss was a better individual performance, probably. A triple-double with 61 points. That is the most points in the history of the NBA for someone with a triple-double. That was Nikola Jokic in a 140-139 overtime loss. The Nuggets lose to Minnesota last night. Or 36, however old. And I put an age on it because he's 37. At what point do you think Steph Curry slows down? And as Steve Kerr, his head coach, said after the game last night, the talent, the drive, he didn't use the word gall. What did he say? It's unbelievable what he's still doing. It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. I don't know which one. 51 by Steph in a win last night for the Warriors over the Grizzlies, 134-125, or 52 for Steph, 61 by Jokic in a loss.
Oh, it's Steph. Jokic had 10 extra minutes to do that.
Okay.
Double overtime game.
They did go double overtime. All right.
It's Steph, no doubt. 12 threes, got the win. Jokic can't beat Minnesota now.
Steph was 2 assists short of a triple-double, by the way. 52 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. First time a Golden State Warrior has hit those marks since Rick Barry did it in 1974. Rick Barry was the dude who shot free throws underhand. He had the Suns. He had 64, 10, and 9 that night. Steph had 52, 10, and 8. It's amazing what he still is able to do. And that's why I've told you, he is my favorite player of this generation to watch play basketball. I know others love LeBron and the power, and I'm not telling you there's a right answer or wrong. For me, because I was a guard, because I'm not a big behemoth of a man that can just take over with power. I love watching a guy take over a big man's game who is listed at, what's he listed at, 6'3", I believe. He looks smaller than that, but he's listed at 6'2", $185. Right? I love watching a man that size take over a game. And by every account, it seems like a pretty good dude. By every account, he works his ass off. And I get it, man. What LeBron's doing at 40 is great. I'm taking nothing from him. But what Steph continues to do at 37 is pretty damn impressive, and he's still the best shooter we've ever seen.
The NBA, for the questions that they're dealing with, if you run down just the best players in the game, it's insane right now. Because you do have greatest of all time level players in LeBron James and Steph Curry. And then you have the younger superstars, whether it's Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic there in the middle. Giannis is an NBA champion, put up ridiculous numbers last night too for the Milwaukee Bucks. Like the talent level. Oh yeah, and you just want to learn something about the Cleveland Cavaliers, Oklahoma City Thunder. Like it's in a pretty good spot for as many questions as been surrounding the game this year.
Well, I think when the playoffs start, and this is, I was having this conversation with Isaiah yesterday when you were out. The sports calendar in our country, and I believe it's intentional, it is so well put together, right? The overlaps and one rolls into the other, because we're going to roll out of wrap up college basketball, because college basketball takes over these 3 weeks. And we're going to roll out of that right into the Masters, right into the NBA play and NHL playoffs. Baseball has started, and you get the rhythm to the calendar. And I believe that rhythm is going to help the NBA, because I think when the playoffs start here in 2.5 weeks, I think it's the 19th is when they start. I think there's going to be really good stories. And the fact that, you've got LeBron and Luka on the same team is really good. The fact that you've got Steph with a chance with Jimmy Butler there is really good. The fact that Nikola Jokic's team is good. The fact that the Celtics are spectacular in the East and going for a repeat, but there's a realistic challenger in Cleveland. The fact that the Knicks seem to be relevant, at least in the first round, I think is going to be a good story. And then these young teams that people are going to learn about, to your point, whether it's Oklahoma City, Houston, Memphis, Cleveland, right? I think the stories are going to be told. I think the NBA is going to be good once the playoffs hit. And my gut tells me the numbers are going to bear that out.
I'm with you. There's a flow to the sports calendar. I don't like to overreact to regular season ratings for sports that are just so long.
Yeah,
you want different. Your moments.
Yeah.
But football is going to be different. It's a challenge now too. The NFL's taking over Christmas, and that used to be like the one day where like the NBA could kind of leave their mark. Well, now they have to think a little bit differently, maybe adjust their sports calendar a little bit, which I don't think would be terrible. Maybe even own a little bit more of this summer with start dates for that league. But you get to the playoffs, people will be watching the game, superstars will be playing. You have your good mix of just legit good teams versus the name brand that's going to be out there. Like, it will be okay.
Yeah, no, I think that's where this goes. 505-246-0610 if you want to get in. Emails Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com and JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. But yeah, I believe that's, I don't know. I mean, when the playoffs start, you care, like, to your point, on seasons that are this long, baseball's hard to get into. And maybe, when the Dodgers are, 25-0, people are going to go, oh, wait, are they ever going to lose? They're 7-0, by the way. Right? And if you're watching your team, you're into it. If you're a big Celtic fan, you're a big Laker fan, you're a big Nugget fan, Dodger fan, whatever it is, and especially when you're in those towns and it's there every day, yeah. But there's a lot going on right now as we watch the race now. So with the Warriors winning yesterday, I think Kenny was in yesterday. We were talking about the first round matchups with Kenny and Isaiah, and it's changed now because it was Lakers and Memphis as of yesterday. Well, as of now, the first round matchup is the Lakers and Golden State. I don't know if the NBA wants to see that in the first round, honestly. And there's 7 games left, 8 games left. I don't know that, but maybe they do.
I don't get the people going. And when you look at the Western Conference, just think how crazy it is. The season Oklahoma City is having, and look how many games back the second place team is.
14.5 would be the answer.
That's wild.
Yeah. 14.5. And again, I don't know your common fan outside of Shea Gilgeous-Alexander can sit there and they may just know SGA or whatever. How many guys that are starring on the Oklahoma City Thunders? Could they tell you about Jalen Williams? Maybe they know Chet Holmgren, but they're not sure if he's playing or not because he's played 27 games. But do you know who Aaron Wiggins is? Isaiah Hartenstein, who came over from the Knicks last year? Free agency. But you're going to, like a week and a half in, they're going to know about all these guys, right? People are going to be experts on them. The bottom of it, Sacramento is a game and a half clear of Phoenix. Phoenix right now looks like they will not, with Kevin Durant, with Booker, with that team they put together, it looks like they may not make the play-in. They're a game and a half out of the play-in right now. Oklahoma City 1, Houston 2. Houston's 2 games clear of the Nuggets for the 2 spot. Lakers and Golden State, and it almost looks like I guess the Lakers could get up to 3, and then you get Denver and Golden State in the first round. You'd rather have Memphis if you're a Nuggets fan than Golden State in the first round, wouldn't you?
The team that just fired their coach last week, sure.
I mean, right? Like Memphis is 6. I guess Memphis could slip into the play-in tournament. You don't want Minnesota, though, do you?
No. Bad matchup for the Nuggets.
Yeah, you struggle with that. But, yeah, that's something. What's the better performance last night? Steph, 52, 10, and 8 in a win. Jokic, 61 points with a triple-double and a loss in double overtime. I mean, I don't know. The answer is probably yes because they're both unbelievable. 505-246-0610. Fernando Lobo due to be with us coming up at 8 o'clock. He's the vice president and director of athletics at the University of New Mexico. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Got shots? During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
SEC, and Big 12.
By the way, maybe the best performance last night in the NBA was the Bucks as a team. They had the best shooting percentage in a game by any team this century. We're a quarter of the century in, right? Bucks snapped a 4-game skid. They shot almost 69%, 68.9% on 51 of 74 shooting. Beat the Suns 133-123. It was the best shooting percentage by a team in the NBA since 1988. It's pretty good, right? I mean, it's a hell of a day. You decide what was the best. Last time a team had a higher percentage was, believe it or not, the Clippers in the 80s. Figure that out. March 13th, 1998, Clippers were 61 of 88 when they beat Toronto. All right. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. You're in on the new head coaching hire and things you don't like. And I guess that's what we are here for, is what you don't like. For instance, Gopher doesn't like that they put some money into fixing the duck pond and wants to know, why wasn't the winning presser outside at the under construction state-of-the-art duck pond, Jeff, since that's the highest priority project, most pressing issue at UNM right now. I don't know if it's the most highest priority. It's a project that obviously is on your radar that you have problems that they're putting money into, I guess. And the duck pond's kind of, I didn't go to UNM. Kind of a central gathering. I mean, there's a big piece of that campus, right?
Place on campus. You walk by, you chill at.
Gopher doesn't want to put any money into it. Just, I mean, why do you put, it's just a pond and you put ducks in there, right?
Why you put money in anything on campus?
What are they doing? The duck pond? I don't even know. Like, they're just, probably was built in the 50s and they're rehabbing it. It bothers him. All right, coaching contracts bother Mike. Death, taxes, and ridiculous contracts, he says. Jeff Alou. Coaching contracts need to reflect the new reality. Teams are constructed year to year. So should coaching staffs. Coaches aren't sitting in the living room of a pimply-faced 17-year-old promising parents that the current staff is still going to be around in 4 to 5 seasons from now. You don't need these gazillion-year deals. There is zero, and I mean zero chance, Olin is still coaching under this deal in 2030. I will agree with you that he will not be coaching under this contract in 2030. Yeah. If in fact he wins, they're going to restructure his deal and either more money, more years, whatever it is. I guess what Mike wants is 1 year deals. Because what he's saying is you're recruiting guys for 1 year. Would you sign a 1 year deal, Mike? And I guess that the answer is, well, you can pay me $1.2 million. Yeah, I'll sign it.
Both ways. It's not just there's the buyout. Coaches fired, coaches leave. The money that comes back to the university, you don't have that on 1 year deals. Which I understand people would be fine with that. It's not the way business works, man. There's some things that just work the way they do, and coaching contracts work that way.
I don't believe there is a coach who would have signed a 1 year deal. Period. Come on in, but we'll give you 1 year. Yeah, we're going to give you I'll tell you what, we'll up it to 1.4 million. Dude's like, nah, I'm good, man. I got a 5 year deal at UC San Diego. I got a 4 year deal wherever I am. It's I hear you somewhat in theory, but 505-246-0610. Edward, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you? Hey, I think in debate or in conversation, it's healthy to get different perspectives. And I know there's a propensity for Lowell fans to be kind of negative at times or complain a lot. I do it myself at times, but I think it's good to hear different perspectives. It challenges the neurological pathways, right, and gives you new things to think about. By the way, briefly, Jokic with a 61-point triple-double last night, and I think you guys covered this, and Curry, one time in his career, I would love to see them let him put up 60 to 70 shots in one game. He would break 100. There's no doubt in my mind. I'd like to see it.
If he's on,
Just
yeah. If
let
it was
him
one of
shoot
those
50 to 60 times in one game.
Yeah, if it was one of those days where he's on and just not missing, he's just amazing. I like I said, he is my favorite player of this generation to watch.
It's amazing. Truly, he's mastered muscle memory from every point on the court. I think he could probably go out there and not look at the goal and probably hit a lot of shots. So the NCAA tournament, and this is not a complaint, just an observation. Last year, Connecticut ran through everybody. I don't even think they played a competitive game, and that was a great team, and it's happened before, right? This year, I think, watching the tournament unfold, I think I've seen like 4 really good games. Colorado State, Maryland was one of them, right? UNM game was really good. There hasn't been an abundance of really good games. The Elite 8 games, we had really 3 uncompetitive games. They were not competitive. 2 blowouts, and then the other game, I forget who it was, the Michigan State game, Texas, it was never really in question. It was always an 8 to 12-point lead, and you could tell they weren't going to close the gap. And then we had the one amazing game, right, where Texas Tech, kind of folded down the stretch and missed some free throws, and some huge shots were made. I actually thought about driving to San Antonio had Texas Tech got in, but they made my decision for me. So, but I think it's interesting how it's all kind of unfolded. The UNM coach hired, I know he's going to talk about it at 8. I don't know much about the individual, and I heard some callers complain earlier that he wasn't really emotional earlier in the week. I thought about the coaches that I like, and they have one key attribute, like Belichick and Pat Riley and John Wooden.
They're unemotional.
And, they're very stoic. And I just like coaches that are stoic. I think there's multiple ways to be successful, but stoicism in coaching and in business and leading a family, I think it's abundantly important. And I think that they hired a guy who's pretty stoic. And I'm kind of excited, and that's coming from a guy who's not a huge UNM fan. So I think there's good things coming. You guys have a great day.
See you. I like guys who, and you tend to like what you believe you are. You don't get too high, too low, right? And I don't mind showing me a bunch of emotion. Whether go old school Raleigh Massimino jumping up and down and whatever.
It's about time and place.
That's right. Yeah. No, I think that's right. Players tend to look towards leaders. We hear all the time that teams take on the personality of their coach. And I think teams who are, and I thought Richard Pitino was a great example of that this year. I thought this team took on his personality. I thought they were very businesslike. They enjoyed moments. They didn't get super down. Like when New Mexico State came in and beat them. I thought that could have been a turning point in the season, and in fact, it was, and it was a turning point in the positive. Right?
We don't want this to happen.
Right? No, 100%. And they, I believe, took on the personality of their coach in that moment, and he went in and basically said, "Look, you got to be better defensively." I think that was almost. It's interesting if you look back on that. Was that a panic point? Because they realized when they lost to New Mexico State at home, and I don't even want to say as much to San Jose State. I mean, San Jose State, they just didn't shoot the ball well that day. But they realized their margin of error was 0 at that point. And I thought they responded insanely well. I mean, I don't know, panic point, is that a fair term on it?
No.
All right.
I think they panicked. I just think it was – I think you laid it out correct. They understood, like, there just wasn't a lot of room for error. Even with the non-conference schedule they played in, it felt good, and you got some wins in there. But I think it was just more of the level of expectation that they had. You know, it's a rivalry game. Plus, it was one that, for a while, it's a quad 4 loss in your resume.
Oof. Yeah. Ken, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hey, Ken.
Good morning, guys. I'm a huge Lobo fan. Obviously, I've since birth, born and raised here, going to Lobo games as a kid, and just really rooting for this team. Rooting for Olin as well. I don't think he won the press conference.
Okay.
We want a coach to come in and just have a commanding presence of, I've been here before. This is something that I expect and something moving forward I've been through before. He did not come across that way. He came across very nervous, just reading off script. And so I was just a teeny bit disappointed in that aspect. I think it's a good hire at the end of the day. I think that he can coach, obviously. But if you just ask about winning the press conference, I don't think he did. He is experiencing things for the first time. This is new to him. This type of level of scrutiny and job he's never been through before. That worries me a little bit. The UAB coach Kennedy was my first choice because he had been through the fire. He knows what it is to play in the SEC. He has been coach of the year. He's in the SEC. He's, his resume this would not bother him. Any of this stuff at UNM, the Pit, the Fishbowl would not bother him, it seemed to me. But I am rooting for Olin. I go to all the games. I wish him the best. I think the next thing now is to instill confidence in his recruiting and his staff. That's what needs to kind of calm the nerves of people like me. He knows what he's doing. He's been there before. He's going to be okay. The recruits he's getting some 3-stars. That kid out of Arizona, Prescott, that point guard that committed to him at San Diego, is now decommitted. So if he can get that kid, that would be.
Is that the
really
Isaac Williams? No,
step.
is that Isaac Williamson? That's not Isaac Williamson, right?
No, it's like Uriah.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that 5'10" kid. If you look at his YouTube video, he just, I think he averaged, I don't know, a lot. He had 54 in one game. He's just incredible. He reminds me of House. He's got a lot of spirit. Yeah. He's got ups. He can get up. But anyway, so I was a little disappointed. My wife was excited. She saw the softer side of him, so that appealed to her. Like it wasn't just a normal coach, like he was actually a human being.
Yep.
So that was good for her. But for me, I kind of want a guy that, yeah. So.
All right, no, Ken, I appreciate you. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Let me say one thing on I thought he was different dude answering questions than he was reading his prepared comments, and I think most people are. Look, public speaking is a, as you know, it's a, not everybody's comfortable with it. I thought he was much more natural when he was answering questions, and he was funny and he was looser as opposed to when he was reading his comments, right? Now you've seen, I'm not telling you my way is the right way. When I speak publicly, I write bullet points. I don't write out word for word what I want to speak, and it just is more comfortable for me. Others, they write out, and read word for word. And so it came across as, was he reading something pre-prepared? Yeah, I believe he was. But I thought the content of what he had to say was good, right? I liked what he said, and I thought when he got off of his script, so to speak, and answer questions. I thought he was funny. I thought he was charming. I thought he was entertaining. I thought he was chill. I liked that. That's the personality. You know what I mean? I thought later in the interview when he was on with us, the conversation we had Monday, I thought he was better the second half than the first half, right, when he got more comfortable. Does that make sense?
It does. And I do understand that there's an action of people that think the Lobo job is good enough to where it shouldn't be a job. That's the first step up for someone. I understand that.
I don't know. He was a coach of the year twice in the Big West. I got a Big West team playing the finals of the NIT. Right? I mean, whatever that means to you. All right. Fernando Lobo is going to be here coming up at in about 14 minutes, the Vice President Athletic Director of the University of New Mexico. John Thomas is going to Antwerp, Belgium. John Thomas Jewelers is my jeweler. They will be yours once you walk in the building, and right now they're offering you a tremendous opportunity. If you, by April 11th, pre-order a hand-picked diamond from Antwerp, they are going to take care of you with a free engagement or anniversary upgrade ring. If you pre-order your diamond, starting at just $3,000. Why do they go to Antwerp, Belgium? Because it's diamond capital of the world. They will select beautiful, breathtaking diamonds just for you. 80% of the world's loose diamonds flow through Antwerp. That's where the finest diamonds in the world are sourced. That means you will get unmatched quality and value. So take advantage of John's over 35 years of diamond experience. Let them hand-pick a bigger, brighter, more beautiful diamond than anything you can find here in New Mexico. There's no mass production on this. There's no middleman. Just your perfect diamond at an incredible price. Again, pre-order by April 11 and let them find your 1 in a million diamond. Stop by John Thomas Jeweler. It's a third-floor showroom on Louisiana. You'll see why they've been voted America's coolest jewelry store. 2440 Louisiana Northeast, Suite 310. It's the third floor of the Lewis University building on Louisiana, 1 block south of Manal across from the Coronado Mall. John Thomas Jewelers, where Albuquerque gets engaged.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros it on ProView Networks.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share.
Fishbowl is going to be a little different here than it. That's the one thing that I don't know. Maybe is going to be the biggest adjustment for Eric. Is the fishbowl? You know, like somebody was saying to me yesterday at lunch. You know, you can in La Jolla. You know, he probably can go out to lunch or go out to dinner anywhere he wants and be incognito. You know, in San Diego, UCSD basketball. JJ, honestly, until recently, didn't really register. I don't know how many people know who the head coach is. That's going to be a little different here. I think he's going to be okay with that. I really do. Jeffrey, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Jeffrey.
The fishbowl.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah.
And, you know, not to criticize any person, but, like, to really start putting wins and losses on the press conferences, I guess it's a thing. I guess. I mean, I don't know what we're expecting from a guy who's been at one job for 20-plus years where, you know, he's kind of entrenched and just does his, daily duties probably fairly routinely, and then shows up here and has a list basically reading off people he wants to thank and make sure he addresses some things and then loosens up when it's question time. But I don't know, maybe he should have said, we're going to go to Nevada, we're going to go to San Diego State, we're going to go to Colorado State. You know, I mean, I don't know what we want. And so we can't judge the guy until he coaches a game, I guess. That's the way I see it. And I tend to agree with Edward. It's just like, you know, let's just see what the guy does on the floor. And he's already got a recruit. That's cool. He's bringing that big guard who's one of the best guards in the state of California. It looks like he was committed to UCSD. His name is Jake Hall. And I posted on a forum, and someone was already critiquing that too. Well, he can't be the caliber of player that we would have here, so it doesn't matter. And it's like, again, we've had plenty of players who weren't recruited by a lot of people that they should have been recruited by turn out really well. And the last one I seem to remember of that ilk was Donovan Dent, and now he's at the school that totally passed him up. I think the guy came across as nice, likable, probably been up for 36 hours straight. He shows up here, having been here less than 17 hours, and does a press conference, and seems honest, seems nice, seems genuine. I just want to let the dude coach a game and let's see what we can do.
I thought the honeymoon would last until he lost a game. You guys are a little rough on him. Holy smokes. All right, Ben. Thanks.
All right, later.
We get one more in before the break. JT, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, JT.
Hey, I know you guys are up against it, Jeff, but I got to say I'm happy. I'm very happy with Fernando Lobo. I think we got a good up-and-coming young athletic director that understands what's going on with college sports. I was happy with our football coach choice. I told you when we had all these candidates, I wanted Alfred back. I'm not a hater. I don't hate nobody that wants to take care of their family. So if we were going to get a new guy, I was doing my research. I wanted this guy. I don't care if he's rah-rah, if he says 2 words, if he looks good in a blazer, this and that. It's the fans. Okay, we got to get behind him. We got to stay behind him. We don't have all the money in the world, but we got to go to the games. We got to buy this. You know, we got to go to the games. And so I'm happy with everything. And so to all the haters that hope Coach Pitino, you know, loses every game from this point on, you know, you can kick rocks. I don't deal with people like that bettering themselves. If anybody heard Pitino yesterday, he he gave a lot of praise to New Mexico.
He did.
Shook his hand. Here we go again. I just wish we could play home and home with Xavier.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. All right, man. Be careful out there. See you. All right, when we get back, scheduled to have Fernando Lobo in studio, Vice President, Athletic Director at the University of New Mexico. Long overdue now that he's 4 months on the job. Good to get him in here and just talk to him a little bit and pick his brain on some of the big things that are going on because, boy, there's been a lot going on. 505-246-0610. He is JJ Buck. I am merely Jeff Symbieta, and you are listening to The Opening Drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal.
Your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gala Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone.
Anniversaries. What did we, JJ, a few years back, we did our 15th anniversary. But, you know, when you've been on the job for 4 months, you throw a party and you get the band out and you get balloons. And yesterday was the 4-month anniversary that Fernando Lobo has been the vice president and athletic director of the University of New Mexico, and they threw him a little party. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, Fernando Lobo is in studio. Long overdue. Happy anniversary. 4 months, huh?
Thank you. 4 months. Like I said yesterday, 120 days on the dot. And, yeah, it's been amazing. Just blessed and honored to be here. And obviously we celebrated yesterday with the band and the cheerleaders and a new basketball coach.
Oh, so. That guy was there too. I forgot about that.
I forgot about that.
I forgot he was there. I don't, so much goes into it, right? You come up and we get jobs, we do things, we make career moves. There's no way, and you can control volume here if you want, that you could have anticipated 4 months in, hell, a week in, you had to go find a football coach. Yeah. And now a basketball coach, your 2 highest profile hires. I don't know, do you have a style now? Do you have something? I mean, obviously what you've learned in the last 4 months is invaluable. Yeah. Well, you know, a few people asked me this yesterday, and that's why I took the job. You know, I wanted to come to a place where expectations are high, people care, and these decisions are big ones. And yeah, I mean, I didn't expect in the first 120 days to have to hire a basketball coach and a football coach, but I'm so blessed that I had the opportunity to do it. And at a great place where people care, like I said, and yeah, you know, coming up in this profession and just having such great mentors that I've been part of coaching searches before and all of that. And you have a plan, you have a process, but you have to tailor it to the place you're at. And New Mexico is a special place, and it's looking for a particular type of individual to lead our programs, whether it's football, basketball, or other amazing sports. And to dive right in with my great staff and to trust quickly, learn quickly, and go find a football coach that I think is doing a tremendous job. And then 3 months later, get back in the saddle, and here we go again, you know. But, no, it's been great, and I'm super blessed to have the opportunity to do it. I want you to take this in the vein it's intended, because this is not disparaging against Bronco or Richard, because I obviously they were really good coaches. Sure. But when it's all said and done, and maybe this is a question I ask you in 2 months from now, is it going to be a positive that, you know what, actually these are my guys now? They're guys I hired as opposed to guys I inherited? Yeah, you know, well, Bronco and both Richard, they did a tremendous job. You know, Bronco had a great season, created a lot of momentum, and obviously he left for reasons, personal reasons. Understood. And others. And, you know, so, you know, and obviously Richard, you know, just crushed it in his 4 years here. And so, yeah, it's really exciting to have 2 individuals that I was able to go through the process and identify. And,
hire them and lock arms and just, continue the journey. It's a great place to be right now at the University of New Mexico. We've got great leadership from the top down in our university leadership, our board of regents, and from our some of our flagship programs, we got 2 new leaders in there that Eric's been on the job for 36 hours, but Jason's been doing a heck of a job. So just excited to have those 2 alongside me.
He's Fernando Lobo, the University of New Mexico Vice President and Director of Athletics. He's in studio with us on the Sports Animal.
We always discuss coaches, especially this era of college athletics, probably having a list available of players you want to contact, people you want to talk to. What's it like for coaches? Do you have a list of guys that you're interested in, if something were to happen, or is it just, hey, when it happens, you start getting feedback? How does that process go for you?
Yeah, 100%. You always got to keep your list in your top drawer of your desk. These things happen, they change. It's an ever-changing environment now in college athletics, both players and coaches. And so, you can't be caught off guard. And we certainly weren't for this basketball search. And, obviously my background's in football. I spent 13 years working in college football, but, my first true love was basketball. I played basketball growing up. I tried to become a basketball manager at the University of Florida, and they told me to kick rocks. So I walked across the street and started working in football. And so, I'm a football junkie, a basketball junkie, and so I watch a lot of that, and I watch closely. I look at the metrics and all of that. So 100% you have to have a list, one, because it's just fun to watch great coaches do their job, and then if you have an opening, you got to hit the ground running. You cannot be caught flat-footed. These things have to happen quickly. They've got to be pragmatic, but you can't just spend, 24, 36, 48 hours wondering, hey, who are we going to go talk to? And I'm fortunate to say that both in football and in the basketball search, we were able to hit the ground running and get this thing done quickly.
How do you keep an open mind in these searches? Because obviously you want to have a good connection with someone, but maybe you don't just want that like 1 or 2 interactions to maybe dictate how you feel about a process, but just the conversations when you start to get to meet these coaches and talk with them.
Yeah, you know what? The great part about being at a place like New Mexico is that when these jobs open, there's a lot of interest in these jobs.
I tell people that all the time, man.
And so even if you have a preconceived notion of 1 or 2 or 3 individuals, when you start seeing the interest that pops up in these positions, you're like, wow, this is a terrific place with great resources. And so as part of the process, you kind of you got to go in with an open mind because you have so many opportunities and options and folks that you want to talk to and that want to talk to you. And so as you're approaching these things, whether it's been the football search or the basketball search, people know about New Mexico. They know about the support. They know they know about all the great things that this great state has to offer in this community. And so, for me, it was really easy and for our team to keep an open mind because we had a lot of terrific options to talk about, to explore, and just really a testament to what's going on here at New Mexico and what's been built and what we're continuing to build.
One of my favorite things that Eric said yesterday was about people. And I'm paraphrasing certainly, but he seems like a people person. And I don't care what business you're in, it's about people.
That's right.
And we've all worked with people. I'm not going to get into specifics who you've worked well with and who you've liked, and some were maybe a little bit more abrasive.
Yep.
When you go through this, you can go through resumes all you want. How much, when you sit down and say, look, that personality has got to work here. That might not. This one's going to work better because you're going to win with people.
Yeah, and he said it in his press conference yesterday. And when I was at Ohio State, I remember Coach Meyer would always say, you win with people, and to me, the quality of the individual that you bring into your department is so critical, because when you have a great person that is a super talented coach, and then you have great talent and resources behind it, that's when the magic starts to happen, right? And so what I saw early on with both Jason and with both Eric is that, the type of individual we have great coaches in our department already as it is. And so I felt an immense obligation to make sure that we were bringing in a good person for both of those programs. And I'm happy to say that we've been able to do it because they can coach their tails off, right? They can recruit their tails off, right? But when you bring all of that together, like we've been able to do in 4 short months with Jason and Eric, I think that's really when the magic starts to happen. And we all know, right? When those programs have success, a rising tide raises all boats. And so when you're winning, and you're winning with integrity, and you're doing it the right way, and you're a great person, I think that's where we want to be, and that's where we're going to be.
Fernando Lobo's in studio with us. So I think one of the biggest things that Eric may have to adjust to, and I think probably, I don't want to say it, maybe, but I'll ask you about it. You probably have too, in 4 months, is the fishbowl effect.
Yeah.
Everything you do at the University of New Mexico is a big deal. right? Jeff Grammer said yesterday, you're going to hear from me every day, right? Yeah, people are talking Lobo basketball all year. They're talking about Lobo athletics. You guys are it. At UC San Diego, you probably could go to the nicest restaurant in La Jolla and maybe nobody knows him. That doesn't happen here. And that will be an adjustment. I'm going to guess it was an adjustment for you as well.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And I talked to Eric about this through the process. And again, yesterday I went over to his office late last night before we went home. And, he was just talking about the opportunity that he has here and what he saw in his first day, and that so many people care. That's the great thing about this job. And that's why there was so much interest in this job, is because if you're a coach, if you're a great coach and you're pouring your heart and soul into it, why would you want to be at a place that doesn't care? It's hard work. You're away from
lost.
And so for me, who cares about me? But I'll go to the grocery and someone will walk by and say, "Go Lobos." That's what makes this thing special, and this is a special place. And I know it's different for some folks, but for Eric and for Jason to come here and to have that and the love that people show them, it's just special.
In 4 months now, what have you learned that you didn't know? And probably a million things, and it's not a fair question, but as far as the passion, like you came in and we were talking off the air.
Yep.
You say, "I love this place."
Yep.
And I think it's genuine. I can see it in your passion. What is it that you love about this place that maybe you just had no idea 4 months ago?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing I noticed is just how warm and welcoming the people of this state, this community were. I mean, we talked about it. I was fortunate to have the opportunity to spend time up in Santa Fe with our great state legislators, and just getting the opportunity to talk to them about UNM athletics.
And they want it to be successful.
100%.
And New Mexico State.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're the flagship institution, and athletics, as I say all the time, is the front porch of the flagship institution. And so for me, I've learned how appreciative and warm and welcoming these folks of this great state and community are. But more than that, I learned that, and I said this in my press conference yesterday, that Lobo basketball, and we're talking about this specifically right now, but it's more than just a team. It bridges generations. Yeah. It creates memories. I can't tell you how many folks I've talked to, young or old, that tell me, "Hey, I was there with my grandfather," or the first time
same seats my granddad
met my
had,
wife. And it's just, again, it's not like that everywhere.
Fernando, Addie came back. I mean, she goes to Michigan. She goes to school. Goes to the Big House, which it's another world. Spring break, Dad, I want to go to a game at the Pit.
No
and
question.
so she was at the Nevada game, right over winter break.
Yeah.
Fernando Lobo's in studio with us. When we come back, I want to get into some of the stuff in Santa Fe. I want to resources, future conference stuff, the stuff that we hear from our listeners every day, right? Where are you as far as resources? What is it going to mean with revenue sharing potentially on July 1st? And the conference thing is certainly a big issue. And where does that go? Fernando Lobo's in studio. One more segment. He's got a big meeting coming up at 9 o'clock, so we're going to hold him until about probably 9:40 or so. But appreciate you sitting down with us.
Yeah.
And we'll continue with the Vice President and Athletic Director at the University of New Mexico, Fernando Lobo, on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Robert Half.
Leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
Fernando Lobo's in studio, the University of New Mexico's Vice President of Athletics. What's it, Vice President and Director of Athletics? What's the exact?
Yeah, I think that's it. Whatever you want it to be. It's all good.
Let's start here, and then we'll get into Santa Fe. The biggest question we get, biggest concern we get from Lobo fan is conference.
Yep.
And, you know, Richard made it very clear on his way out, and he mentioned it. He was vocal about it. He I think the word he used with me was freaked out.
Yeah.
By what the Mountain West is going to look like after next year. Where the fluidity of that, I know that there's a lawsuits plural pending. Yeah. People are still holding out hope of some sort of merger with a PAC. I'm going to guess that's probably come and gone. There's a lot of bad blood. Yeah. What do you tell people in regards to the future of conference affiliation for your athletic programs?
Yeah, I think that everybody, you know, if you had a crystal ball and could predict exactly what was going to happen, then you'd be really rich because nobody knows, you know. Yeah. And so for us, and I've said this since my first day here, we've got to worry about New Mexico. And when I say that, we have to invest. We have to hire great coaches. We got to keep the pedal to the metal because now's not a time to be caught flat-footed, you know, knees bent, head on a swivel, because every day you wake up, you read something new. This lawsuit, that lawsuit, yeah. The House settlement is going to matter right here in a few weeks. You know, all of that together has created a lot of uncertainty. You know, you see in the news that the new PAC media deal is coming in a few weeks or whatever it might be.
Now, maybe.
Yeah. And so, I'll give Gloria, our commissioner, a lot of credit. I think she's added a lot of stability in an unstable time, excuse me. But for us, if we are the preeminent brand in the conference and we invest at the level that we need to invest, and we're certainly getting there, I think that the rest will take care of itself, because the story's not done yet. There's grantor rights deals and everything else that have expirations on them. And so we have to worry about ourselves. We have to win championships, compete for championships, and we got to do it the right way. And I think everything else will take care of itself.
Football's a big piece.
Sure is.
And it's the reason football's the reason that New Mexico was not considered for the PAC or for anything else. And I got a question here, and people who talk about the stadium. And obviously, I've run a bowl game for 20 years in that stadium. Yeah. It behooves me to get it renovated as well. But I understand there was some capital outlay for looking at expansion. This gentleman, or this, I shouldn't assume, this person just asked about a renovated football stadium. Where, in regards to stadium, commitment to football, and capital outlay, is that on the table? What are the plans for that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a top priority for me and for us. I talked about it in my interview for this job, and the investment in football, and it starts with your facilities first, and then your program, right? It all matters. And so we've been fortunate, obviously we've talked about this in Santa Fe. And, the one thing I want to say about University Stadium is, to me, we play football in it, but it has to be, obviously you do a tremendous job with the bowl game. It's got to be a community facility, for us to have 7 football games a year, 8 football games, whatever it might be, it's great, but we need more. We want that to be
high school games.
Yeah. We want
concerts.
For sure. I mean, the weather's beautiful here. Let's have concerts. Let's, high school games. Let's make this a gathering place for New Mexico.
We've been saying that for years.
No question.
JJ and I have.
Yeah, and again, the football games are great, but let's blow it out. Let's use, for us, it behooves us from a revenue standpoint to have more events in there. But even more important than that, we're the flagship institution of this state. Let's use the stadium more often. Why not?
You got to make it something that's going to attract people. People want to go to.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's got to be a pleasant experience, whether it's getting in and out of the stadium, whether it's concourse concessions, all those things. And I think they're all tied hand in hand.
And I do want to say, just quickly, with everything with the basketball search and everything else, I want Lobo Nation to know that, we are committed to improving and enhancing the fan experience for our football stadium and for our games. We have a great team. We've already, bounced around a bunch of ideas. I want to make this an enjoyable event so that when folks wake up on a Saturday or they're going to bed on a Friday, they say, hey, let's go to the Lobo football game. You know what? Their concession prices are fair. The parking's going to be okay. We've got free water, just things like that. I want it to be a family gathering place to come watch the Lobos play, because I will tell you, Coach X is going to play a really exciting brand of football. They're going to be tough. They're going to be disciplined, but we've got to do our part. Yeah. We've got to make sure it's a great experience for folks to come spend their hard-earned discretionary income. And if we
enjoy it.
Yeah, no question about it.
Fernando Lobo. He's the UNM Vice President of Athletics, or Director of Athletics and Vice President. He's in studio with us here on the Sports Animal.
We know so much of the talent moving forward for the student athletes going to be tied to the resources. What do you have when it comes to revenue sharing, NIL? But just in terms of the level of competition, what should fans expect in college football? Because we know that the gap was there. The gap feels to be getting bigger. So at the University of New Mexico, what's a fair expectations for what this ceiling for that football team can be?
I want to give credit. Anytime we talk about revenue sharing or NIL, you can't start right without saying thanks to the 505 and Kurt Roth, because it set a floor for us both in basketball and football and our other sports, by the way. We've got our track and field unbelievable, and we've got some incredible. And so we've actually put ourselves in a position where we're not starting from scratch, and that's a testament to Kurt and 505. And so, when you look at football, obviously, and I came from the University of Texas, most schools are pouring their money into football. You see the numbers, of a $20.5 million cap. Schools are putting $13-15 million into football at the Power 4 level. But when you talk about the level that we're at, I really do feel confident that we are building a resource base in our football program to allow us to not just be competitive, but my whole thought process is, and I stole this from Coach Meyer, is you have to be playing meaningful games in November, right? Meaning, are you going to go to a bowl game? Are you playing for a championship? And in order to do that, your investment level has to match your expectations. And so if those are my expectations, which it is, then we have to have the investment. It's just like your work ethic. Your work ethic's got to match your expectations. And so we're building it. Is it where it needs to be? Is it where I want it to be? No, but we're making progress, and we're going to continue to push and push and push because we need a competitive and successful football program for our future.
So how will that look with revenue share, assuming that starts July 1st?
Yeah.
And what will be the role of the collective, 505 Ventures? Will it be an addition to it? Will it be an accessory? And how sustainable is it?
Yeah, so that sustainable is a great piece, and I want to focus on that for a moment. So the new revenue sharing model actually allows us, to enhance what we've already been doing. And so, we've had so much great support from our donors and our fan base that have stepped up because they see the return on their investment, right? They see that when they're putting their money towards our, collective, right, and we're able to activate our student athletes in the community, there's a domino effect, right, a multiplier effect in that investment. And so now as we shift to this rev share model, we're,
And explain that, because I don't know that people understand.
I will. And so Jalen Dominguez and Kurt and Eddie, when he was here, who did a tremendous job, we started the Lobo Alliance. And the Lobo Alliance was kind of ahead of its time, and that's within the Lobo Club. And so now when we're able to internalize our NIL starting July 1, folks can now donate to the Lobo Club, right? And we can then use those dollars within our budget, to participate in internal NIL. And so the other piece, sustainability, is that now that it's internal, we can now use our revenues, to share with our student athletes. And in the past, collectives were 501s or separate LLCs, and it was totally private, and so there was a lot of pressure put on those collectives to deliver.
To completely fund it.
Exactly. And so we're able to have more control. We're able to educate our student athletes, help them, and they have to pay taxes, all of those things. It's not just, hey, we're going to, use your NIL to sell tickets and do all those other things like we've been doing, but also, hey, let us educate you, right? If you're making money, we need to help you manage that money. We need to help you understand, how do you do your taxes, all of that stuff. That's our obligation. And if we're not doing that, we're going to fail. And so we're failing our student athletes. So I'm really excited about the future, and we're going to continue to push it.
Fernando Lobo's in studio. A few more minutes. We're going to let him go. JJ, I'm going to blow this clock up a little bit and take it a little bit longer. You went up to Santa Fe, and I don't know how much your athletic department should or can rely on state funding. All right, there's a big push. Well, we got billions of dollars, so they should do this. Others are saying, nope, it should be private money. There's not enough private money probably in this state to get you to where you need to be. So there is going to be a reliance on Santa Fe. There are two Division I universities, or Division I athletic universities in the state. New Mexico State's got to get their share as well. When you went up there, and I know you spent a lot of time up there, you and your team, the reception, your thoughts, because I'll tell you, the legislators with whom I've spoken, and I know many of them, were impressed, not only that you were present so often, but with who you are and what your message was. What was the message you got out of there? What do you have to do now to continue to grow your support out of Santa Fe?
So the one thing I wanted to focus on the most, well, first let me say how much of an honor it was to be able to go spend time up there. I have a background, my grandfather was in politics, so for me to be in a place where I can have that level of interaction with our great state legislators.
Interesting world, isn't it?
It is. I loved it. Yeah. The first day I was there, it's called the Roundhouse, and I realized this thing's actually round because I kept going around in circles. But the one thing I wanted to make sure is before I even mention dollars and cents is I wanted them to understand that an investment in athletics, right? Whether it is dollars or whether it's just them supporting us, talking about us, right, is an investment in the economy of this great state, because we have the opportunity as an athletic department. I go back to when we played UNLV and we won the championship. The confetti's falling, 15,000 people in the pit hugging, crying, laughing. That unifies the state. That matters for this state. And that's all I wanted to be able to convey, because it's coming from my heart. and I mean it sincerely. And if they believe that and they see that, and a lot of them were able to through this season, and a big thanks to Richard and the team for having such a great year, because it just validated what I was saying. And so before any dollars and cents, I wanted them to understand it. And I hope that we were able to get that out of the session, because that's so important for us, but for this state, it matters.
JJ and I talk about this all the time. Enjoy the victories, right? Why do you enjoy athletics? Because you don't win all the time, and when you do, I got to fill in for Robert Portnoy. I called the Washington State football game, and I remember I listened to it a couple weeks ago. I remember saying at the end of the game, and I said it to Dontrell, and it was for me, a sincere moment, looking around the stadium and just the joy. I'm looking down, and while the crowd wasn't huge, I'm watching people of all ages hug each other. Yep. The genuine joy when they beat Washington State. Yeah. And look, you didn't go to a bowl game. You had a 5-7 season, but you beat a ranked team. JJ, what was it, the first time since like 2001 or something like that, right? And the genuine joy of winning. And look, it happens at New Mexico State too, right? When they go to the NCAA tournament, when they were winning WAC championships, and when they went they were in the bowl game, 2 years ago, they were a 10-win team. Yep. It matters, and it raises the level of everything in the state. It's a lifestyle enhancer. Absolutely, it's an economic driver.
No question.
And so I hope people get that message. And how closely do you work, if at all, with New Mexico State? Because in some respects you're competitors, but in large respect you're pulling on the same end of the rope.
Yeah, and I said this throughout Santa Fe. I've had the good fortune of being at places like the University of Florida, and Florida State. Texas, and A&M, and when you're two institutions, right, that are kind of the flag bearers of the state, when they're both good, it's good for the state.
Because you play each other.
Yeah, I mean, we want everybody, when we're playing each other, obviously the rivalry, but when we're both really good, it's really good for the state. And so, yeah, we're rivals, and whenever I sent out a message last night on social media, it's always good to beat your rival. Yeah. We beat them in baseball, and that's part of the beauty of it. We've got a rival just 3 hours down the road, but we want this state to be proud, of the Lobos, of the Aggies. I mean, that matters. It's so much, it's so much part of the identity of this state. And the rivalry's great. And so, I say it all the time, that a rising tide raises all boats. And I firmly believe that when the Lobos, the Aggies are good, it's good for New Mexico. And that's what our obligation is, to make this state proud, to make our alumni proud, and to continue to push so that we just, we keep the pedal to the metal.
15-10, Lobos beat the Aggies last night in Las Cruces.
Amen.
Yeah. I know you got to go. Long overdue. Let's do this again.
Love to do it.
Congratulations on the success. 4 months in.
Thanks so much.
Do you get like a 4-month ring or something? They get you a watch?
Jeff Grammer sent a message last night. I saw it this morning. He asked President Stokes if I could take a week off. He sent it to me on X, and I said, I didn't say this to him, but I'm saying it on air right now. No way. We got work to do.
No days off.
Let's go. Let's keep it going. It's a great place. I'm fired up. I don't need a vacation. I love being here. I love Lobo Nation, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, we appreciate you stepping in. He is Fernando Lobo. He is the Director of Athletics, the Vice President at the University of New Mexico, and he's going to work. We'll do it again soon.
Thanks so much. Appreciate you.
It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck on 95.9 FM at AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gala Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burquia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
The yellow.
In our society, I really believe it is knowing how to listen. I think we all want to be heard. We all want to speak. And I really feel, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know Fernando very, very well. But as I get to know him more and the more people I speak with, this has become a common thread. He does listen. He doesn't think he knows everything. He is willing to learn. And I appreciate that. At the same time, he's got to lead. He's got to be the leader. He had to lead 2 high-profile searches. And so, like, you may not have heard everything. We didn't hit every topic. But I believe you got a guy in there that is the right guy at the right time. And I wasn't as certain when they hired him at first. I didn't know him. But you know, a young man who's got, I think, a good vision, a good solid background, a good sense of confidence in himself, yet the understanding that, man, I don't know everything, and I'm going to rely on people.
There's nothing wrong with that. And that's also, I think, a sign of a good leader, is ability to listen, collaborate, learn. And it's opportunity, man, whether it's Fernando Lobo getting this position, Eric Olin at the University of New Mexico men's basketball job, just the opportunity. Everyone needs it. And once you get it, how are you going to attack it? And you got a hungry AD that's looking to leave a mark.
Yeah. You guys are in, and you can get in on what you heard. 505-246-0610. Carl says, reply to Lovo, why would someone want to be at a place where there isn't great interest? He says, I don't know, Jeff. Ask Craig Reed where folks were casing his house, or Richie McKay, whose ride got trashed when Lobo basketball was out of town. Okay. I mean, okay. So go somewhere, go work. And look, if you get into something in the public eye, I don't care if it's a head coach or an actor or you're on the radio, you better accept some of the public scrutiny. And I mean, it's just part of it, right? You put yourself in the public eye.
Yeah.
You're the head coach at the University of New Mexico. Yeah. Or do you just want to go be somewhere where nobody cares? And maybe some of you do. And then maybe that's preferable for Carl. If that's your thing, cool. Ken says, where are all the events, Jeff? When Lobo says University Stadium needs to be busy morning, noon, and night, where are all the concerts, the conventions, the festivals, and the other stuff? Aren't those the same things we were promised going into the $60 million University Arena redo? No, we weren't promised morning, noon, and night. But you were promised more events than you're getting, yes. Yeah. This is a busy time of year, right? You got Lobo basketball leads right into state tournament, leads right into the PBR this weekend. I mean, that building's been busy constantly for the last month, right? Now, will it go into a little lull? Yeah, fair. But when he says, let's get the stadium to be something that people want to go to that we're utilizing, I think we all agree with it, but it's got to be somewhere people want to go. You got to be able to access it. There's plenty of parking, but can you get in and out? What's the food options? What's the concourse level? What are the premium seating? All that matters. And so that's part of, I think, what the plan is in regards to renovation of the stadium. It's the opening drive, 505-246-0610. You're welcome to get in on whatever you heard from Fernando Lobo. Hope you don't have plans this weekend because Twin Peaks has some exciting events lined up. National Beer Day is April 7th. That would be, Monday, I believe? Celebrated at Twin Peaks. You will enjoy signature taps, local crafts, ales, lagers, seasonals, all served at a teeth-chattering 29 degrees in 22-ounce mugs. Cheers to great beer and to good times. And do not miss out on the BOGO wing deal. Buy 6 bone-in wings at Twin Peaks and get 6 more free on Tuesdays at Twin Peaks. Choose your favorite sauce or rub. You can bring the whole crew for a wing fest. That deal is too good to miss at Twin Peaks. And you got the NCAA men's basketball, the championship. It is also April 7th. Twin Peaks. Who's going to take the title? Go there and well, watch it there. Kick off your week with Customer Appreciation Day, April 8th. April 8th out at Twin Peaks. And put them on your lunch schedule. Put them on your rotation. Twin Peaks. Munchies, drinks, scenics. Enjoy yourself over at Twin Peaks.
This report is sponsored by Rap.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
and sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
Frank to the top of the Sandias to scream about it. Well, yeah, they did not. What do you want him to tell you that he did when he didn't? I think the way I understand it, they got about $11 million in capital outlay for the first step plans and that stuff towards renovating University Stadium. And my understanding is that the plan is in 2026, next session, is to go for full funding to renovate the stadium. But yeah, Lobo Hobo, yeah, he didn't tell you he got it because, well, he didn't, and they didn't. And I think, the dude was literally on the job for a month when it started. I know they got more this year than they got last year. So let's see what I got. I said, text line, I'm sure you're going to ask about Lobo Football Stadium. What I hear, Governor approved $11 million this year to plan out 2026 full session funding. That's what I heard. Lydia said, great interview. Thank you. Larry says, great interview with AD Lovo. Loved his energy and mindset, especially loved the commentary about utilizing University Stadium to generate revenue more than just for football games. Excited for this new era of Lobo athletics. Jeffrey's in, and he said the Rolling Stones concert at UNM Football Stadium in '96 was an example of usage. Yeah, to get those things, though, again, you got to make it somewhere people want to go. You just do. And I look, everybody else, you look at every town in America, and I say every town that's thriving. And JJ, you've been to places, you've seen what facilities look like in 2025. Some of you just don't want to invest, and that's cool. And you'll continue to be behind what facilities have become. And I'm not telling you need Jerry's World. I'm not telling you need SoFi Stadium. But you do need something that somewhat looks like this century, right? Whether it's amenities, whether it's premium seating. And I know there's a faction of people who say, I just want the cheapest seats, and that's cool, and there'll be that. And there's a larger faction of people now that want premium seating, that want people coming to their seats and bringing them food, that want higher end concessions, that want climate control. Like you're seeing smaller capacity facilities being built with higher percentage of premium seating, right? No, it's still got to be affordable. You still got to have tickets for everybody to be able to go. But I appreciate what he was saying. Got a bunch more for you on what Fernando had to say. You can get into that. 505-246-0610. You're ringing the phones. We'll hit you when we get back. He is JJ Buck. I'm Jeff Symbieta. Thank you for being with us this morning on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This is Boomer Esiason with the Sports Minute.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics. Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders.
Sports Animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
All right, we got Isotopes tickets to give away. We'll do it coming up here at 9:10, 9:25, and 9:40. Isotopes, whoever they're playing on the 15th. I think it's Salt Lake, but I'm not sure. No, I think it's the Chihuahuas on the 15th. 505-246-0610. Come on in. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck, good morning to you. Had UNM Athletic Director, Vice President for Athletics, Fernando Lovo was in studio in the last hour. If you want to hear that or you missed it, it's over on our website, or will be. It's sportsanimalabq.com. Click on the opening drive and you'll be able to hear that. Lots of response coming into that. Want to hear what you have to say. Robert, thanks for holding. You are on the Sports Animal. Good morning, Robert.
Yeah, I like what Fernando had to say this morning. I think the stadium renovation is long overdue.
Yes.
It's just not a fan-friendly place to be anymore. It seems like the concourse is really not designed for a lot of people to be walking around. I remember back in the early 2000s when Rocky was there, they'd have like 35,000 people attend those games. And before the days of the cell phone, we went to attend one of those games, and my wife had gone to the bathroom. And about 30 minutes later, she still hadn't come back. And finally, when she came back, she told me she got stuck in a people jam on the concourse. Nobody was moving in the concourse area. It was just a big people jam. And that's the sort of thing that turns people off. Not only that, the way the concessions are set up, it's just kind of an archaic, old-fashioned place to be, and there's really no excitement along with the game. So I think just some sort of an improvement would really bring in fans and generate interest. So that's good to hear that they're going to do something. Another thing, I haven't been to the stadium in so long. I'm not sure if they have guardrails or handrails that go down the steps. Has that been incorporated? I know back in the day they never did.
No, just going down each aisle, they do not. No.
Yeah. See, I'm not even sure that they're in compliance with. That's a safety violation. Really, I know that people have complained about those steps and the steepness. So I think they're like 14-inch steps, and I think they're out of compliance. So really, the whole thing needs to be. I'd like to see them knock it down and start over. I hope that's not asking too much, but anyway, that's the big problem. People are not interested in going out there because it's not a fan-friendly stadium.
It's got to be somewhere you want to go.
Those are my thoughts.
No, it's great. It's great. That's such a good call right there. It's got to be somewhere you want to go. You're going to hit me, and I know it's coming, and you're not wrong. They got to win. Give me something to go watch. And yes, and yes, and yes, and they understand that. But, JJ, it's a stadium that was built in the late 50s, early 60s, and really not that much has been done to it. They enclosed that north end zone back, I want to say, 98, something like that. They built the end zone club in 94. Nothing's been done to the suite level. The concourse is he's right. It's tight. And the other thing, and this is, I don't know the answer to this, and I mentioned this before. You go to any other stadium, you have access to enter the stadium 360 degrees around the stadium. This one, you do not. You lose the whole east side because of soccer, right? The soccer stadium's up against it. Basically, that whole south end, all that goes in there is just going into the end zone club, right? And so you've got the west side and the north side where everything jams up on that north end zone and those entry gates. So can you cut more entry? He's right, man. It's got to be more fan friendly. Now, if you pair that with winning, I think you got an opportunity. And can they knock the thing down and start all over again? I remember when they rebuilt Isotopes Park in the old sports stadium.
Yeah,
it was basically that. They called it a renovation and left home plate and the big baseball out on the corner. But I thought that was a great call on things that people experience, and he's like, this is why I don't go.
Now, if you can get the money to do it, absolutely. But if you can't, what are viable ways to improve the stadium? And that's what they're going to work on finding out.
Yeah. Jeff and JJ, thanks for the interview with Lovo and the great coverage of Lobo basketball and all other things as well. You guys are the best. Thank you from Ronnie. P.S. Don't you guys go into the transfer portal. I think I don't know, JJ. I mean, should we test the portal? We could always come back. You're thinking about it? All right, just let me know. Just be transparent. That's all I'm asking is transparency. Those are coming in the text line, 505-246-0610. One thing I'm curious about, if you guys get a chance, is the new or significantly renovated football stadium. Make it a dome, please. Yeah, it's probably not going to be that. Is that realistic? Obviously, Richard was concerned about the conference. So are many of us. Are we being aggressive in pursuing conference opportunities? We need to think about New Mexico first, not the Mountain West. I did ask Fernando about that, and I thought basically what he said is we got to be worried about New Mexico, right? We can control, and then the other things will happen. Because I think he's right. Conference realignment is not done. I don't even think it's done for now, JJ. I don't even think this round is done. Pretty soon things will settle until 2032, the next grant of rights.
Yeah.
This one says Lobo was thrust into the fire. I think he's handled it admirably and doing the best he can. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Too bad he lost the press conference. Crying, laughing emojis, 3 of them. Let the guy work for a while before you totally slam him. He's only been on the job for 4 months. I don't think anybody's slamming Lobo, do you? I haven't heard anybody take a shot at him. Have you? A couple people this morning said you didn't win the press conference with your football coach or with your basketball coach yesterday, which, I mean, I don't know. Yeah. You know, it for those of you just joining us, how did you feel about the basketball press conference yesterday? I thought Eric Olin was good, likable. And I thought, yeah, like anybody else, when he got off his script and it was answering questions and speaking instead of reading, I thought he was really, really good. I thought what he said in his prepared comments was excellent. I thought his message was excellent about people and the process and all the things that he said. This one's from John. Good morning, fellas. Going to go to Isotopes Park and check out a baseball game. Isotopes in OKC, I think. Should be great as long as the wind isn't over 10 miles an hour. Dude, it was cold last night. I'm not going to lie. We were out there last night. It was chilly. Did you watch the NIT last night? Have you watched the NIT, or I'm sorry, the Crown basketball?
Crown Invitation.
Have you watched any of that?
I saw bits and pieces last night.
Did you like it? Were you into it?
I appreciate it. You know, with college basketball, I'm really interested to see the dynamic of this tournament versus the NIT. Of just trying to have a little bit of relevance outside of the NCAA tournament.
What interests you more, the NIT or the Crown? You're going to have Chattanooga and UC Irvine in the final of the NIT. UC Irvine's 32-6. Chattanooga's 28-9.
I think what we're seeing is the NIT is almost going to become the mid-major invitational, and then the Crowns are going to try to get the names, and you see if people are going to gravitate towards watching some of the names.
So it's way more name over merit.
Absolutely.
DePaul got beat by 22 points. They're 14-20 in the postseason. Colorado got beat last night by 21 points. They're 14-21. On Monday night, Butler won. They're 15-19. They beat 16-17 Utah. Arizona State got beat. They're 13-20 in the postseason. Georgetown beat Washington. They're both 19-15. So I got the email from Rod. Rod hates the bowl games, right? There's too many bowls. There's too many bowls. There's too many bowls. My answer is don't watch them. Jefferson, you said yesterday you don't need to see 16 clubs play in Vegas. So that's the same way Rod feels about the bowls. Rod, then we're the same way. You don't watch bowls, and I don't need to watch the CBC. So we're even. I guess those teams get to play. But you don't have 3-9, 4-8 football teams playing in bowl games. Every once in a while you have a 5-7 team filling a slot, right? I mean, I don't know. You tell me 13-20, should you be playing in the postseason? I'd almost feel guilty accepting it at 13-20.
Well, no, not.
Because you're getting money for your players.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I understand the concept of it.
And I do think that when you have, especially college basketball, when you're talking about 300 and some odd teams, that I'm okay with, quote unquote, a second-tier tournament mattering.
Okay.
Like, I think, like in women's basketball, what they're trying to do with WBIT, where it's 32 teams. And that's merit-based. That's not just get in. Like, I think that's really interesting. I think actually in women's basketball, it's a truer sense of who's good because the quad one rankings are much smaller.
Yeah.
So being a top 100 team, I think matters. I think for college basketball, you used to have that feel of, okay, here's the first and second tier tournament. Now it's just kind of like, okay, we're playing to play.
I don't know, man. If you look, watch, do your thing. Watch what you want. I'm not telling you. That's the same thing with bowl games. You don't like them, don't watch them. I'd love to see the numbers on the Crown. Did you huddle around like last night? Did you like I've got to watch Cincinnati DePaul because they're bigger names than UC Irvine and Chattanooga. Like, if you sat down last night, and I know what I watched the NIT. Okay, I enjoy UC Irvine, and that was a hell of a game. UC Irvine in North Texas. and then Chattanooga coming back on Loyola. 2 competitive games. But if you had your choice last night, and you did, what did you prefer, NIT or the Crown?
Some of it is just what pops up first.
Okay.
Like where.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like what network you might happen to hit first to settle on the game for a few minutes.
Yeah. All right. Boise State plays today, by the way. Boise State Butler. It'll be 5 o'clock on FS1. Butler is 15-19. The Broncos are 7.5-point favorites. Your other game tonight, Nebraska and Georgetown. That's the other quarterfinal. All right, we got tickets to give away. You want to go see the Istopes? JJ will get you a pair of tickets, I think. It's the game on the 15th of April. 505-246-0610 is the number. Call now, and caller number 3 will win those tickets, courtesy of your good friend JJ Buck at 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1.
Card standings.
I don't know what they're trying to do as an organization.
The Rockies.
Like your top outfield prospect, play him. Like, why is he in Albuquerque right now? Like, what expectations have you traded Nolan Jones, who was actually showing a spark 2 years ago?
What'd you get?
Struggled last year. They just got another veteran dude and Tyler Freeman at throwing the lineup. They signed Mickey Moniak after he got cut by the Angels to put in the outfield. What are you doing? Just play your young dude, see what happens.
Rockies are off to a 1-3 start. They're already 4.5 games behind the Dodgers, who are 7-0. Best start for a defending champion in Major League Baseball since the '93 Yankees. Dodgers are 7-0. Padres are 6-0. Those are the 2 undefeateds left in Major League Baseball. Catch any baseball yet? Watching it? It's there for you every night now. All right. What do I got else on the text line? Jack says, Salt Lake Bees equals New University Stadium. Jeff, the PCL club is moving into a state-of-the-art facility that's half the size of Smith's. Is this the model Lobo football can follow? It's time to realize we'll never get 40,000 again, but with the right facility, there's no reason you can't draw 20. Stadiums are being built bigger. Smaller. Right? When San Diego State built their stadium, I want to say it's like 30,000. They didn't need to go 50,000-seat stadium. I think people are realizing that it's more about comfort and accessibility and enjoyability for the fan than it is about just trying to jam. You're right. You're probably not getting. I think baseball stadiums are being built, like big league stadiums, right? They're looking at 40,000. What's the new Vegas stadium? Like 40,000? That's what they're looking for. Yeah, the big house. Oh, we got to go to Michigan. They're getting 100,000 people, and there's not a lot of places that you're stuffing 100,000 people in. Now, if you can do it. I mean, JJ, you should try to figure out how to get there for the Michigan-New Mexico game next August, because going to a game at the Big House is amazing. But I agree with you, Jack. I think that's the way to go. This is from Steve. Never mind. I'll read this later. All right, 505-246-0610. Emails Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com and JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. Text line, Eric Olson. That's Olin, O-L-E-N. Coach's name is Olin. There's no S in his last name. But this is Eric. Danny says, Eric Olson will bring excitement to the pit. He was excited about this prominent basketball program and may have shown some nervousness because of his enthusiasm for Lobo basketball's job. It's from Danny. Yeah, Eric Olin, I believe, will be good. And look, are you going to fault a guy who walked into a room where he knew nobody, took over a new job? He'd been at the same place for 21 years. This is absolutely the highest profile position he's ever had. And I thought he handled it well. I didn't think he looked insanely nervous, but some of you do. Do I think he was better when he got off of his script? And I thought, again, I didn't think he was bad when he was reading his prepared comments. I thought he was fine. I thought the content of what he had to say was excellent. Was he more genuine, more glib, more funny, more real when he was just answering questions? Sure.
Introductory press conferences are on the list of most overrated things.
100% one of the most useless things, period. Yes.
Like, it's for fans, but if you play it up for the fans, the people are going to hold that against you forever. If you don't do enough, well, then you're not confident in the position.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with you. Absolutely agree with you.
Like, oh, he won the press conference. Okay, and he won one game the next year. So what's the point? Like,
yeah. Yep. Jeff, this has to be a seriously testing Sushan. Talking about the voice of the Isotopes. It'd be interesting to get him on the OD and ask him if this has been his most challenging start to a year outside of 2020. The club isn't playing well. Last night they were getting blued out in the cold, windy built by the Bees, so he had used up his best filler material by the 6th. There's only so many times you can hype this weekend's Mariachis game. It was cold last night, and they're not playing well. Yeah, they got beat 15-1 yesterday. Dean says, good morning. I was able to look at both Olin and Pitino's introductory press conferences. What I got out of Olin is a guy that wants to coach Lobo basketball. Just a likable guy. I'm excited about the season. Pitino was all class act as usual. Lucky to have had him. Go Lobos and Musketeers. I will get back with the morning show in November when basketball starts all over. All right, Dean, have a good summer. Peace out. At least he stayed through today. All right. I get it. All right. Anything else you took out of what Fernando had to say? Because I thought there was a lot in there.
Well, there's still so much to get to. It's the process just underway for basketball, football. It's going to be intriguing to see because then there's still a ton of questions that they need to answer. Even in the summer, the quarterback competition is definitely one of them. But then the investment in everything, what happens with revenue sharing, moving forward.
I thought it was interesting what he had to say about that.
Yeah, and then didn't get a chance to ask him, but where the clause in the contract came from for the home and home, love that. Or hey, you bought out a coach and you have to pay us $250,000 too. So
yeah,
no,
I love that. So if in the previous situation, Richard Pitino would have been required to schedule a home and home with Xavier in New Mexico, which would have been great, right? The assumption is, he's going to a bigger job. Now, if he goes to Long Beach State, you got a home and home with Long Beach State, right? Okay. If he goes to Incarnate Word, you got a home and home with Incarnate Word. But if he goes to St. John's, you got one there too. I thought there was a lot in there, and like it's early man's performance. And how about I don't need a vacation. No days off, man.
No days off.
Somebody sent President Stokes off a note that give him time off and no days off. All right, you want to give away some more tickets?
Of course.
All right, we got 2 tickets to go see the Isotopes, and I think it's the Chihuahuas.
It's a 4-pack.
It's a 4-pack?
Yeah.
It's not just 2?
4, y'all.
Oh, damn, dude. All right, you got 4 tickets to go see the Isotopes. The game is on April 15th. You can celebrate Tax Day out at the ballpark. I don't know what the weather will be like. Hopefully it'll be. By the way, thank goodness for those dang beanies. I should have worn it in today. I got an Orbit beanie. My bald dome was so much better off with that on. Like, thank you.
Stay warm.
Thank you. 505-246-0610. That's the number. Call now. Caller 3. You were going to get a 4-pack of tickets to go see the Isotopes and the Chihuahuas. That'll be on April 15th. JJ's got them. Call now at 505-246-0610. You're listening to the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Cover it with green stuff. One scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great
league and huge for San Diego State.
Absolutely, to be able to keep a player, probably turning down bigger offers to stay at a place that he's comfortable, he's confident, and to have that be a piece for the Aztecs to build around next year is very nice.
Philip Borovichinen, the Lobo, now former Lobo, whose name was in the transfer portal, is following Richard Pitino to Xavier. I don't know that that surprises you, and I'm not even certain that I know how Lobo fans going to respond to that. Do you?
I think that with Philip, a lot of people were hot and cold on him, expected a lot more offensively, but the presence he was, defensively, the length, it worked with kind of the makeup of the roster last year, knowing he wasn't going to have a high usage rate.
I think that's fair. So he's gone. Elsewhere, Donovan Dent's going to UCLA. I told you yesterday, D-Dan Thomas, the talented point guard at UNLV, he's going to LSU. Obi Ogbim, the high-scoring swingman from Wyoming, Baylor. Got a couple out there. Nick Boyd, San Diego State's point guard, is still on the market. Casey Evans, Kyan Evans, the really, really talented point guard at Colorado State, is still in the portal. So there's a bunch out there. Former UC San Diego commit Jake Hall has received an offer from New Mexico to come follow Eric Olin, his agent, saying that. As far as the Lobos, somebody asked me on the text line, did you see any players at the press conference? I saw Cade Dotson there, and I really wanted to go talk to him, and I didn't get a chance. But he was there. What players would you like to see retained? The only one left on the roster, I think, is Abraham Asako, right?
Asako and Thomas, unless I missed
somebody told me today Thomas went in. I missed it. Mud said on the text line that Thomas went in the court, but I didn't see that.
I'll have to pull up the X to see what transfer tracker posted it, because it's really where you get all this. All of them to have a roster.
I'd love to see Cade Dotson, but I just really like it.
If you could somehow get
Milicevic,
Washington, Dotson, Milicevic back,
Washington would be
there's dudes to work with.
Yeah, no, and if you look, I think they're going to be okay because I think the NIL's there that you're going to attract people, and if you go look in the portal and look how many players are there and look who's there, and you just start going through it, you just go, holy smokes! I mean, there's a lot in there, but I think they're going to be all right. Were you surprised Buzz Williams left Texas A&M to go to Maryland?
Never surprised with
Buzz
moves,
Williams
or any of these moves. The money is outstanding. The commitment to basketball is huge in the SEC, but Buzz Williams, I think he has that kind of, I won't say feel like, because now the SEC, those are basketball schools, but going to Maryland, like, I know they're trying to invest in football, but Maryland's brand to me is still basketball or football.
But the reason that Kevin Willard left, he made it very clear he was complaining about the resources, right? I mean, when Kevin Willard,
a dude leave an SEC school for it, so it ain't that bad.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it on the surface, I got a guy who left Maryland, went to Villanova, complaining about Maryland's commitment, the leadership structure. I don't know who I work for. I don't know what, right? And so that job, the guy who fills that job comes from as high a resource school as there is at Texas A&M, right? That's why I was surprised. Now, was I surprised that Buzz Williams left another job? No. But it kind of felt like at A&M where you got as much money as you could possibly find. And maybe it's all going football. I don't know. I just don't know. Maybe it's a new AD situation and it's not his guy. Because that was one of the things I asked Fernando, right? In the long run, and this is nothing against Richard Pitino or Bronco Mendenhall, but will this be better because you got your guys? And maybe that was the situation there. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces these days when it comes to coaches and the investment they want, who they're working with, what kind of money. It's like you're not in a bad spot in Maryland at all. And the SEC has done a fantastic job committing resources to basketball to build that brand. But I can also see Buzz feeling like you go to Maryland and you are a bigger fish on campus there than you are at Texas A&M.
And it's funny. Do you want to be the bigger fish? Like Kelvin Sampson says, you know what I love about Houston? Now, here's a guy who's coaching at one of the best basketball programs in America right now. They are. He says, I love that nobody knows me. He says, you can go get gas and 1 million people drive by and nobody knows who I am. It's kind of the conversation we were having, right? Eric Olin at UC San Diego was probably the same way. Now he's going to be at New Mexico and he's not going to be able to go to Los Cuates and have dinner without people knowing who he is, right? Which, again, pluses and minuses. People care. Not everybody cares, right? When you got a couple million people, 3, 4, 5 million people, Houston's the 4th largest metropolitan area in America. You don't need everybody to care. You just need about 5% of them to care. Different world. What do you want? And it'll be interesting to watch how that whole thing plays out. Right now, True Washington, Cade Dotson, Jovan Milicevic, Braden Applehans, Quentin Webb are the Lobos or former Lobos who are in the portal. What will the roster look like? And you'll start getting an idea. You're going to see a name trickle in here and there, and you're going to still see a name trickle in come August, right before school starts.
Yep.
Just like you did last year and the year before.
Got to do a little bit more work with the coaching change, but there's plenty of players to talk.
Well, I think a large part's going to be who's on the staff, right? And what are their recruiting ties? And what, like, everybody's been recruiting somebody. Everybody's got relationships right now. And you might have been in a living room with a guy that you really wanted and was being recruited by, I don't know, let's just say San Diego State, Colorado State, Boise State, and UC San Diego. And maybe they had more money or wanted to play at that level. But you got a relationship, and now you can call that guy back and that guy's agent and say, hey, look what we got. Want to play in the pit?
Wow, got to make sure you call the agent.
Well, if you're recruiting the young man, you can call, as long as he's not committed, right?
No, but I think it's just, like agent tells transferring to.
Yeah, how much? I know. Spring winds are picking up all that dirt and debris yesterday. Make sure your car stays protected. You avoid the scratches. You want to protect the value of your car? Days like yesterday, call my friends at On the Spot Automotive Detailing. Their paint protection film and ceramic coating services are incredibly helpful. You'll avoid scratches and stains and fading paint, and your car's going to have that glossy new look that helps maintain its value, and you're going to be keeping your car for a while. Today's Liberation Day. That means car prices are going up. Didn't you hear? They're awarded best in the city because they're best in the city. On the Spot Automotive Detailing knows what it takes to make your car look and feel brand new. Plus, they will come out and detail your vehicle at your convenience when it works for you, where it works for you. That means at your office or at your home. You don't take your car to them. You don't drop it off. You don't need to ride over there. You don't need to waste time. On the Spot Automotive Detailing will detail your vehicle. You'll get that new car feel without that new car price. Book and buy. It's all online at OTSDetailing.com. All right, we haven't got into the NFL, JJ. They tabled the vote until May in regards to the tush push. Evidently, the proposal to ban it had the support of 16 teams. NFL bylaws require a minimum of 24 to approve a change. So they're going to regather May 20th and 21st in Minnesota, and they're going to get together and vote on this again. This feels like the torpedo bat issue to me, doesn't it? And by the way, I knew yesterday was April Fool's. I love watching PTI. Do you watch PTI with Kornheiser and Wilbon? And they opened up their show, and I thought I was busy yesterday. I'm like, wow, did I miss the Major League Baseball ban the torpedo bat? They did a whole argument, Kornheiser on why it should be banned, Wilbon why it shouldn't be, and why they and baseball banned it, and then they April Fool's me. And I'm like, damn it, I bit. But there evidently is real conversation on whether or not the torpedo bat should be banned. And it's kind of the same thing to me with the tush push feels the exact same thing to me.
Well, it's similar conversations, but I think what's fascinating is there's some weight you can do, length of a bat, but we've never seen a dramatic redesign of a baseball bat.
But it stays within the parameters of what's in the rule
Which
book.
is fascinating. It's not breaking any rules. It's just moving the width of a bat. Right. We're all just so accustomed to.
Yep. What's your feel on it? Do you like it? I mean, do you want these records shattered? Do you want to see balls just flying out of the yard at crazy rates?
Well, I think there should be like a study on it, but with anything in baseball, whether it was juiced, then the bats were juiced, the baseballs were juiced, they weren't juiced. Like, you want kind of have a just common acceptance of what you're using, what tools are available. And if you can make the tools a little bit better, I'm all for it, because you're still going to see plenty of dudes swing and miss. You're still really hard to hit a baseball.
Yeah.
And if you just happen to hit it right and it flies further, okay, I'm down.
First of all, I'm fascinated with with the whole technology and the whole concept behind it. I just am. I'm fascinated that so quickly now other teams are going there and ordering bats from Louisville Slugger. It's crazy. I was at the Louisville Slugger factory literally 3 weeks ago, watch them how they make bats, and I'm not sure how they're gonna, like, because they're coming out of machines, and
I'm sure that, like, does it feel different? Is it
so they say it doesn't feel different when you're swinging it, although you're getting this whole Giancarlo Stanton story now where is he injured because of the bat, because of the different bat, and he's like, you're not getting the story you're looking for. If that's what you guys want, it ain't gonna happen. Like, that's not why I'm hurt, although he's hurt. I'm fascinated that you can study how many times a guy hits a ball at a certain part of a bat, and then you can send that to Louisville Slugger, and they can meet up the bat at a certain part of the barrel. I'm just fascinated by the whole process. Now, do I love that it may drastically change the numbers? Like, pitchers have got to hate this, right? Pitchers got to be losing their mind.
They do.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm somewhat indifferent. I want to see more than a sample size of a week. Is that fair?
Yes. Especially when it was happening in a ballpark you're going to hit home runs in anyway.
Yeah.
Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. I just need to see a sample size of more than 1 week before I go and lose my mind on it. Dodgers are 7-0, and Dustin May pitched yesterday in a big league baseball game for the first time in 22 months. And it was a big deal for LA. Like, if they get him back and he starts, like, look out. more they're just loaded and loaded and loaded. The Dodgers are 7-0. 505-246-0610. All right. You want to give away the tickets? How you want to do this? All right. I got 4 tickets to give away. 4 tickets to give away. I don't have them. JJ has them. I mean, I don't have anything. Caller number 3. The number is 505-246-0610. You're going to get to go see the Topes and the Chihuahuas. That'll be on the 15th of April. 505-246-0610. Caller 3. Call now. We'll wrap you up and take you home when we get back on 95.9 FM and AM 610, Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Moody's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897.
Good on tickets for today. We'll have another 4-pack to give away tomorrow. It's the opening drive. I'm Jeff Symbieta. He's JJ Buck. It's 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. I know we're looking forward. And continuing to get your thoughts on what Eric Olin had to say. But I do want to acknowledge what and how Richard Pitino handled his press conference yesterday. And Richard Pitino, whilst Eric Olin was being introduced at UNM, Richard Pitino was being introduced at Xavier. And I thought, and I don't know if you have it, JJ, and I know I'm hitting you blind on this, and if we've got the clip of him, but he said the greatest thing that ever happened to me was New Mexico. And he talked about how hard it was and how emotional it was to leave New Mexico. And he thanked the fans, and he thanked Eddie Nunez and Fernando Lobo and Garnett Stokes and the people. And he said when he got fired at Minnesota, he was humbled. He was down. He said it was very sobering. And he said the greatest thing that ever happened to me was New Mexico. And he said, I took a leap of faith, and they embraced my family incredibly well. And he says, I'm not at a dream job like Xavier if it isn't for New Mexico. And while some of you, well, I'm not going to assume anything. You take it as you take it. Okay? But I found it to be very genuine because he did not have to. Like Eric Olin thanked the people at UC San Diego yesterday. And he talked about them leaving a place that they loved and leaving people that they loved and how hard it was and how emotional it was to say goodbye. And I believe him. And maybe there's some people at UCSD just going, yeah, whatever. But JJ, is I watched what Richard was doing and listened to what he had to say and how he said it at Xavier. And I'm not going to lie, it was weird seeing him all that blue. But I appreciated what he had to say. And I thought how he said it, what he said it, and I believe the humility that Richard went through. And look, I got to know Richard a little bit. And I didn't know Richard before here. I don't know if he was a cocky silver spoon kid or not. I don't know. I know that the Richard Pitino that I knew here, that I got to know a little bit, was a confident but yet humble and appreciative young man. And I do believe the emotions that he had here. And I thought the way he handled Xavier's press conference yesterday in regards to New Mexico was really classy. Did you catch any of it?
Just the clips.
Yeah. All right. And I know we're looking forward, but I think it was important to look and see what he had to say. Ben, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. How you doing, Ben?
Yeah, thank you for taking my call. I was just going to piggyback off of what you said. You got to give him kudos, and you got to give him a lot of credit for also the day after taking the Xavier job, going on the air with your radio station and doing the interview, and also doing a 30-minute podcast with Jeff Grammer with the Albuquerque Journal on Thursday. That shows a lot of credibility because a lot of coaches might not have done that. So,
yeah,
I give him kudos for doing that. And I mean, on to the next. I mean, it's not the first time we've gotten a new coach, so hopefully it works out. But thank you for taking my call.
No, thanks, Ben, and I appreciate you saying that. Look, that's a relationship thing too, and I know Jeff had a relationship with Richard, and we did too. And not every coach does that. And this is nothing against Bronco, but Bronco never said anything on the way out, did he? I don't think he talked to Sean Ryder. We weren't able to get him on, and I never had that relationship with Bronco. And that's not. I'm nothing against him. I mean, I'm not mad at him for it. It's just it's a relationship thing too. But I just think there was a different emotional attachment to this community that Richard built over 4 years and Bronco did over 8 months.
If that's what you want, like
for 12 months.
If you're, I know it stinks as fans when you feel like, oh, you're just a stepping stone. Well, it was 4 years of development for both Richard Pitino and the Lobo program, and he knows he has the Xavier job because of UNM and the success he had here and the relationship he was able to build. And there's nothing wrong with like acknowledging that, saying thank you, and moving on. And I know in sports, for a lot of people, it's so cut and dry. If you're not ours, then bleep off. But I think what Richard Pitino did was sincere and true, because this was his, I wouldn't even say rehab. Like, this was his
That's a good word.
Booster point.
It's a good point. I think rehab's a fair word.
Yeah, but like this was something where he was able to show everyone else what he could do. And at the time where college athletics was changing, and he said, hey, I can be successful in the transfer portal. I can build relationships with collectives. And here you go.
No doubt. Rudy, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Rudy.
Good morning. I was there yesterday and got it hung around till the very end so I could personally introduce myself to Coach Olin. And the thing that immediately strikes you about him is his sincerity. It's not phony. It's not put on. The reason he was a little nervous is there were a lot of people there, and it is a step up, and it is a huge opportunity. And I think he was so grateful for it that I appreciated him having prepared notes. You have to cover all of that. But afterwards was what was really impressive. And he sat there and answered questions for anybody who was there, who was interested in it, got a photo op with him. And I really think he's going to do a tremendous job. Richard went out the right way, and that's the way you should go out, especially as much as Lobo Nation did for him. So it's all good. And then last night, the rivalry continues. The Lobos baseball team took down New Mexico State on their home field, and I think that's the first time in 4 games there that we had won.
Is that right?
15-10. Yeah, it was homers were flying out of there. Ashby hit one so far, and this is spring in New Mexico. The trees on the outside of Askew Field?
Yes.
He hit a pine tree out there, and you should have seen the puff of yellow pollen that came out of that thing. It was pretty wild. So Ashby lights it up out there, and I really appreciate Fern Lobo. And, I've been out to that stadium my whole life, and there's a couple of things they could do that they could widen the concourse very easily. It wouldn't cost that much. I don't know. I'm not an architect, I'm not George Costanza or Vandelay or whatever he called himself. But you can just see how easy it would be to just take 2 rows out at the bottom of that section and widen the concourse. It would widen it up almost 12 feet, and that would cure that middle portion, which is the one that gets congested. But all stadiums have their flaws. You've been to Michigan Stadium.
Yeah.
Try walking around there when there's 100,000 people.
But nobody gives a damn when they're packing that many people, although they put a lot of money into that. What did their AD told me, gosh, like what did I tell you, JJ, like $800 million they put into facilities since he's been there, something crazy like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, they have the money, and they put it in there, and the facilities are second to none. But still, that's a stadium that was built in 1927. They had to reconfigure it, and the breezeway around
but they have.
To get around Michigan Stadium it can get pretty packed, and it can get a little claustrophobic. And go into the bathrooms, they still have troughs there, just like at Minnesota.
I don't remember that, but all right. I'm pretty sure I used it.
Yeah.
All right, man.
I'll show you the troughs next year.
All right. Yeah, I'll be there too. All right. See you. All right. Do I got time for one more? All right, James, you got 50 seconds. Go.
Okay, I got a question.
Yeah.
Me and my cousin were talking. He's an SC fan.
Yeah.
He says that I'm crazy.
You are.
I said that ESPN hates UCLA. And he says, no, they don't. They're not giving us no love whatsoever in this Final Four. And we're good. So am I crazy? Or
You're crazy.
What do you say?
Yeah, I think you're crazy. I think you're total loco. See you. Yeah, UCLA's in the women's Final Four. I think they're getting plenty of love.
They're the number 1 overall seed.
Yeah. Yes, you're crazy. Is that a fair answer? And total loco. All right, good stuff. Tomorrow we'll have Jerry Palm from CBS Sports as we get ready for the Final Four in the NCAA tournament. More reaction from you. Good stuff today. I want to say thank you to Fernando Lobo, the Vice President of Athletics at the University of New Mexico, for coming in and sitting down with us for a few minutes and kind of going over some really important stuff. And we'll do it again. But I thought it was a good conversation. You can listen to it over on our website, sportsanimalabq.com. Jim Rome show is after the Herd with Colin Coward. That's Colin Coward's next, then Jim Rome. 2 Men On comes in at 4. Isobes Baseball after that. We're back with award-winning radio tomorrow morning starting at 7 a.m. Adrian, great work on the visuals. He's JJ Buck. I'm Jeff Symbieta. Big day for you.
Huge day.
Enjoy it. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
Call 2420 or visit International Protective Service. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services.